ready? Ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, welcome. I'm Washington County Board of Commissioners President Kevin Ritter. On behalf of Commissioner Schilling, Commissioner Booth, Mayor Schlicker, and Safety Service Director Wetz, I'd like to welcome you this morning. For the past decade, the city of Marietta and Washington County have been at odds over the Devola sewer. I'm pleased to announce that is no longer the case. Just this morning, this Board of Commissioners reached an agreement with the city administration to bring this period of acrimony to a close. We're happy to discuss the details of the agreement in a moment, but before we do that, I want to offer a heartfelt thanks to our partners at the city of Marietta. Thank you, Mayor Schlicker. Thank you, Safety Service Director Wetz. We absolutely could not have come to an agreement without you. I'm going to turn things over to Mayor Schlicker for a few comments, and then we'll have Commissioner Schilling and Commissioner Booth speak, and then we'll open up for some questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you all. Thanks for being here today. It's a pleasure to be here on this day for this decision. And my involvement in this project was about 10 years ago when I was on city council. We voted at that point to move forward with a really large, much needed improvement and renovation to our wastewater treatment facility in Marietta. We've done that. We're still in the process of completing that project. It's been a long time for that project, but we have a state-of-the-art facility there, and this agreement today puts the city and the county together with, we believe, the best option going forward. And I want to thank and appreciate everybody's support with this, everybody's involvement from our staff, our city staff, the county staff, and outside legal representation that we've had to have over the years. But this is a day that we hope that move forward with the city and the county, working as a team for economic development and positive future growth for Washington County and Marietta. And thank you for everything. Thank you.
Okay, first off, I want to thank Mayor Josh Schlicker, Safety Service Director Steve Wetz, for being here today, along with my colleagues and members of the media. The relationship between Washington County and the city of Marietta has not been good for the past 8 years when discussing the Devola sewer. Over the last 7 months since myself and Commissioner Booth have been in office, we've tried to fix this, along with the help of Commissioner Ritter and also our engineer Roger Wright. One thing I can't get beyond is the fact that whenever you have a city in a lawsuit with their county, neither party wins. We are all Washington County residents. It's our job as local elected officials to come to a resolution and move forward working together. Another thing that I've heard from a long-time local community leader is, and I quote, "Why am I suing myself?" I heard this years ago, and I heard this from many other business and community leaders in this area. This sentiment is shared by a lot of residents and people around Washington County. We have proven in a short period of time that the city and county can work together on a multitude of topics. We have made progress with the Southeast Ohio Building Department in so many ways, and it shows with the amount of permits that have been purchased by Marietta residents. We are talking at present time about partnering with the city on some other things that will make Marietta and Washington County a better and safer place to live. I could talk at length about the cooperation we've received from the mayor's administration whenever discussing partnerships and working together. This is simply called progress. And if I've said it once, I'll say it again. We're all Washington County residents. Thank you.
I just have a few words for what has been accomplished here today. This is Washington County elected officials, along with their dedicated staffs, to come to a long-awaited solution to a disagreement. These folks in front of you here today and their staffs are not only representing the city of Marietta, but they're representing the 60,000 residents of Washington County. I've learned very quickly that in taking the position as county commissioner, partnerships with other elected officials is crucial, not only to the success of the city, but of Washington County. Thank you all for being here today, for your commitment towards the great continued working relationship between Washington County and the city of Marietta. Thank you.
Now, if media has any questions for the group, we'd be happy to entertain those.
Yeah, Chris Schmidt, Patch Media. You said that you come to a resolution. What does that mean exactly? Like, what does that look like?
You want to go through the details, Mayor?
We met a little bit ago and decided on a $3.3 million settlement, which is broken down into a lump sum payment of $500,000 up front from the county
Okay.
to the city of Marietta, and then the remaining would be paid over 20 years at a rate of $147,000 every year. The 40-year agreement that was signed by previous Board of Commissioners will be null and void at that point. We will sign a new 40-year IGA, and that will include Oak Grove being off the table, meaning right now Oak Grove was considered part of the IGA, the old IGA. Going forward, the new IGA would consider Oak Grove completely off. However, if the EPA in the future would mandate that Oak Grove community come on board, then the city of Marietta would receive that flow at that time, but only if the EPA would mandate that. The agreement of cooperation and support for our future projects, Route 7 north of Marietta, anything collected with that new project would also come to the city of Marietta. And any agreement and any cooperation that we can support the county commissioners on any growth up at State Route 821 north of State Route 60, we would do so, and that flow would also come to the city of Marietta. Any future expansion in Debola that requires sewering would also be part of this agreement, the new IGA, and that flow also would come to Marietta. And any agreements then that were in the original service areas of the old IGA, which any project that we would do in the future, our position is not going to mandate anybody hook into that. But if it is a project that is going through an area and a property owner would like to connect, then we will support all that. And that would include any projects that the county is going to undertake in the future. The other agreement, which we believe that the county will sewer Debola by the end of 2023, but if not, the city of Marietta will start receiving payments in January of 2024 for the projected flow in the Hatch report, which is a company that did the flow study. And then the big one is all sewer rates will remain the same for inside the city of Marietta and also customers outside the city of Marietta. The county being one customer, all of the flow from Debola will still come to the city of Marietta and come through one meter, and will be metered there, and they will pay the same rate that the inside customers pay. I believe that's
I think that about sums it up.
All right.
Anything you gentlemen want to add?
I'd like to add a couple of things. Thanks for the question, Chris. I think, one of the things that's been talked about in the past is the money, whatever money we come up with, that to be bonded, okay? Well, if it's going to be bonded, then we were going to pay an interest rate on that bond. With this, we're paying a 0% interest rate to the city. Okay, so therefore, that's helping us, that's helping them, and it's working together. Okay, the other part that I want to mention is when you talk about future expansion and you look at Route 7 and the Reno area up to Newport, there's a project that we're looking at phasing, and that flow will ultimately come to the city of Marietta. But those customers will be county customers. We're not going to mandate that anyone ties onto that line. We will not mandate that they tie onto that line. What we're interested in is giving them the option, okay? It's good to give people, whether it's individuals that own a home or businesses, the option to tie on. And I just want to make that clear.
And if you're talking real dollars and cents of what, by the city of Marietta accepting payments and not charging interest, you're talking over $1.4 million of real money, of taxpayers' sales tax, property tax, general fund dollars that the city of Marietta has saved Washington County. So that's real dollars that it has saved. And even the annexation, yes, I received those calls also. I think you're seeing the Board of Commissioners, obviously, that is in full support of as much economic development as possible. For too long, it's been just kind of status quo. So we're very proactive on getting this done. But no annexation will be mandated. There is no mandatory hookup. The city is putting that out there, and this will allow for the businesses that need this hookup or that flow to get to Marietta so that it can be disposed of. Now, what it will allow for is if you have an aging system and you have it in there 10 years, saying, well, I don't need sewer for 10, maybe 15 years. And then boom, 10 years from now, you have a big sewer problem. And you're sitting there looking at your septic system saying, I'm gonna have to spend $15,000, maybe $20,000 to get my sewer fixed. Maybe I will go ahead and hook into the city and it can save me some real dollars now. So that is the option that is out there. But there is no mandatory hookup. There's no annexation. That is key to this. This is for economic development.
Very good. What else?
Could we get a brief history of how the lawsuit came about in the first place?
Well, there was an MOU signed, excuse me, got a scratchy throat. There was an MOU signed in 2012 between the city and the county. And based upon that MOU, the city went ahead and expanded their sewer treatment facility. The county commissioner that really pushed the MOU was unseated in 2012. And her colleague that also supported that project retired at the end of his term. 2 new commissioners came in, and based upon the recommendation of the then health commissioner, who said there is no health hazard in Davola, they decided to challenge that MOU. And they challenged that MOU for a period of years. And that's how we've gotten to this point. Those 2 individuals went with the best information they had at the time. They're trying to protect the rights of the citizens of Davola. But there was a signed agreement. So I don't think there was any ill feeling between the city and the county about the original MOU. I think folks were trying to do what they thought was best for the entity that they represented. I just appreciate these guys sitting down and helping us bring it to a resolution.
How much did Jacob Krantz, WMOA, how much did time, if at all, play a factor in this resolution?
Time in terms of the
length of time passed between there not being a resolution. How did that weigh in on the decision making of wanting to get it done, or was it fully, did it just make sense to do it now?
I think we're all tired of the ongoing lawsuit. You have a new mayor, you have new commissioners, new safety service director. It is true, when new folks come into office, there is an energy that comes with that. And I think we really seized on that energy. These folks were willing to sit down from the beginning and put all all the past aside and begin again. So yes, Jacob, I think time was important. I think we're at a unique moment in time. Who knows who's going to be sitting in these seats a couple of years from now, so I'm really glad we got this done.
And that leads into my next question of if there are different people in the seats from now, what is the possibility of this getting recanted or dollars being moved around? I guess my question is the permanency of a deal like this. Is it something that will stand regardless?
Yeah. I think it's going to stand because of the length of our terms is not only boards of commissioners, but the city mayor. You know, I feel like we're going to get this done because the project's going to start next year. It will. I mean, it's going to start, they're going to start laying the mains, you know, then the year after they're going to do the laterals, and then the flow is going to start into the city of Marietta sewer plant by the end of 2023. You know, back to your first question, I'd just like to add, you know, I haven't really felt a lot of pressure about this, but, you know, from a timing standpoint, Jacob, I think the reality is it has been ongoing, and I think once you get out there and you campaign in a large county like this, like we done over the last couple of years, okay, you start hearing what the comments that come to you, you know, in regards to the Debola sewer. You know, I'd like to see that settled. You know, what are you going to do, you know, to help settle that? You know, and you start getting people's opinions. You start gathering that information, and I think it was very important to me coming in 7 months ago and making sure that we started to work with the city of Marietta in certain ways, and we started to cooperate in certain ways. And then when it came to this lawsuit, you know, I just thought that it's something that we need to get settled. We really need to get this settled, and I think we started talking about it, you know, within the first week or two in January. And then we started having some meetings, some fact-finding sessions and things like that. And I truly commend the mayor, safety service director, the two commissioners up here with me. And I have to say, our engineer, Roger, I mean, Roger's been here through it all. Okay, so with that being said, you know, I'm glad we got this done, and I think we're on a good path.
So, Jacob, to answer your question also in this statement, this Board of Commissioners, it is a continuing Board of Commissioners, regardless of who's sitting in this seat. So we had to abide by the previous MOU that was signed by a previous Board of Commissioners. This is a correction to get everything right, to get everything to where everybody's working together. And I think you're seeing here now, you don't see attorneys at the table, because these administrations work together to get this done. And when these two groups got together, we made things happen. And I think that's without saying.
Jacob, if we've learned anything in this process, we've learned that an MOU has the force of law. All right, so the MOU that we're going to sign here in a little bit in coming days is going to be with us for the next 40 years.
Well, and really, you know, I want to add this too. The mayor has constituents and we have constituents, and we share those, okay? And I think the majority of our constituents want to see progress, okay? What we're doing here today is progress. It simply is, because it spells out what's coming down the pike in the future, what's going to happen here in Washington County and Marietta and the surrounding areas in the near future.
And with that progress, does that kind of lend itself to other things that might happen? Like you said, if you have mutual, you know, constituents, and now this newfound relationship, does that impact other projects and other things that happen in the county and the city?
Oh, absolutely. And I think you have business owners out here that they pay attention to what's going on up here. They truly do. And they'll reach out to you. They'll reach out to me and they'll say, hey, you know, I think that was a good thing you guys done the other day. I think that's going to help me whenever I try to expand my company in certain ways. You know, from a standpoint of expansion, from a standpoint of companies looking at Washington County and Marietta from the outside in that don't know much about our area. They see what all our area has to offer, and then when they see, you know, number one, you have governments that are getting along with inside that county when it comes to city and county government, and then they start to look at schools. We have good schools, and that's all factored in when it comes to progress and economic development.
And if I had missed this, then I apologize, but as far as the numbers, can you give a breakdown on how much of the general fund will be used, how much is you know, tax dollars? Do you have kind of a general idea on how much money is allocated from where for this project?
Go ahead.
Let me back to Michelle's question. Excuse me. Part of the agreement with the county at the time and the city was because DeBola had a package plant that was failing, and they wanted to take that offline and bring all the flow that was going through that plant at the time to Marietta. So in 2011 or 12, I believe, we put a force main down State Route 60 that came into our interceptor area with a meter. And so that we took that flow. We've been taking that flow for quite a while. This area that we're talking about is State Route 7 towards the river mainly. So at the time, the city of Marietta had an aging wastewater treatment facility that needed upgraded. So the decision was to, at the same time, take additional flow in the future from DeBola. We would upgrade our facility, not only for expansion of extra flow, but just changing the process how we process the effluent. So at the time, the cap was $25 million that was decided on the IGA. So the $2.925 million, if you've seen that over the last 10 years, that represented 11.7% of the $25 million cap that was used by the county. We would receive that money from the county, use that for paying down our renovations to the plant. So over the years, we've made changes to the plant. We've upgraded lift stations. We've put a new force main underneath the Muskingum River from the east to the west, or from the west to the east side of Marietta, and made major changes to our infrastructure. So we've incurred a lot of investment costs over the years due to those changes and improvements. So this is going to, by signing this today, we're going to be back to the original agreement plus on what was originally intended for that IGA or MOU. So if you're concerned with, or if the flow of money is not crystal clear, that's the reason. It was 11.7 million of the 25 million, which equals 2.925 million.
So portions are from state grants and federal grants, and then also tax
That'd be
money.
a question or answer for county
Yeah,
commission.
Jacob, when we walked in this morning, we were hopeful that we were gonna come to an agreement, but we didn't know. So those sorts of details are things that are gonna have to be hammered out in the coming days. I don't know exactly what line item we're gonna pay out of, but we'll determine that shortly.
Okay, perfect.
What else?
That's generally everything I have, aside from maybe just for people that are in DeVola or affected by this new project. If they do decide that they do not want to plug into the city sewer, how are they affected, if at all? What does this look like for the average DeVola resident, whether they decide to or don't decide to?
If they're in the affected area now, DeVola residents will be hooked in. That is an EPA mandate that we have to do. The expansion projects up Route 7 North that the mayor spoke of, the safety service director spoke of, that is a commercial line going up Route 7 towards Newport, New Mountain, that direction. So this is tying into the existing, the DeVola part of the Washington County Sewer Project is tying into what the existing is now. Those folks in the DeVola area will be hooked up. There's no choice on it. So, and we're still hammering out details on it. But like we'd said, November 30th, I believe, is the exact date of 2023. We expect everything to be done, completed, and flow being going to the city of Marietta.
Perfect. Yeah, that cleared it
Okay.
up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, there's two different areas.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, I misinterpreted.
So and that's the economic development part of it. That's where we're saying, folks see that the city of Marietta is putting a sewer line out through here and working with the county and the state in the right of ways to get that line out through there. We're gonna support that because that promotes economic growth and also can save a business owner thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. You're talking a commercial septic tank, you're probably talking $50,000, $60,000, $75,000. So for a small business owner who's just getting started, it's gonna be much easier to hook into a commercial line that can can go right to the city and not have to worry about it. We're talking about a whole different set of circumstances in the DeVola area, because that has to do with groundwater issues and such.
And were there similar places across the state that, you know, kind of had similar kind of lawsuits with county and city that you kind of looked to and said, hey, this is how they worked it out, we can kind of pick different ideas, or was this organic to itself and you guys really just?
I think this was organic.
I think like we have a unique situation here, Jacob, really. I mean, I guess I haven't talked to anyone from any other county or any other city that they've ever dealt with anything like this. Maybe you other gentlemen have, but yeah, never.
There was some common ground. Safety Service Director Steve Wetz is a previous state patrol, previous police officer. We have some common ground. You know, the business aspect, Mayor Slickers has some properties, some rental properties. We have some common ground that people can sit down at the table and you can have conversation. It's not government officials getting together. We have real conversation.
And the three of us come from the great Fort Fry High School.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, and I do want to mention this. I want to say that our county prosecutor, Nicole Coyle, has done an outstanding job here. Okay, and one of the things that I really appreciate about her is she was fine with us sitting down and having some fact-finding sessions and trying to figure out a way to move forward, you know, in a way and get this behind us. She didn't need to be a part of the process. She said, you guys handle it. She said, we'll take care of all the legal on our end. You know, it was really, you know, it was nice to hear that. And I think it was mentioned earlier, these types of decisions really should be made by the elected officials. It's that simple. They should be, okay? And then when it comes to anything legal, we're of course going to have our attorneys take care of that. But from a decision-making standpoint, the decision should be made by the elected officials. You know, and I understand the three of us, we make the decisions for the county. There's a different dynamic with city government, of course. But at the same time, I truly appreciate our prosecutor and throughout the process, us communicating with her what was going on. She was fine with all that was happening, and she just basically gave us her advice, and she came in when we asked her to come in. So,
Gentlemen, anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I'd like to give some praise to our staff on the city side. We have the largest, in Washington County, the largest sewage treatment plant in the area. And that's manned by Steve Elliott, our wastewater superintendent, been with the city for a long time. And so we used a lot of information and knowledge from him. Also, Joe Tucker, city engineer, has been with the city for a long time, and he played a part in it. Kim Noe, our utility administrator, has been with the city also for a long time. So we have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience in those departments that we relied on. We're a team within the city, and I can stand up here or sit up here as the mayor and take the praise, but it really is our members behind the scenes that take a lot of or should have a lot of the praise for the day-to-day work that they do for not only our city, county, and the residents involved. So I can't name everybody, but there's a lot of people that worked on this, and again, appreciate everybody from the county commissioners, county engineer, just everybody that put minds together and put feelings aside and made this work, and for the best for everybody going forward. So thank you all.
Thank you.
I think the mayor said it very, very well. I want to thank the media for coming. Thank you to those of you in the audience. Thank you to everybody at the table. If you have any individual questions for us, we're happy to stick around and do that, but have a great day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.